The story Bartleby the Scrivener by Herman Melville is a short story set in a Wall Street law office in the mid 1800s, and it begins with the unnamed narrator narrating the story. But we come to know that the unnamed narrator who is telling us the story is a lawyer who has employed many people in his office, and he says that he would like to focus his tale on a group of uh, uh, people about whom he has written in terms of humanity. So, first, let me tell you that scriveners are those people who copy law documents, copyists, we can say. They also proofread the documents for any mistakes and correct it. So, scrivener is a job that a person Bartleby used to do in the office of an unnamed lawyer who is narrating this story. So there are many people who are working in this office, and New York or Wall Street was a place or is a place which is rather quite crowded, and that is why the office buildings are also made in such a manner that there is not much space in them, and they are cramped together. The rooms are like that. The windows open up, but they open to another building, so there is not much view that can be seen from the window. Rather, other walls can be seen. So even look, a window is a place from where one can stand and view the world. So there are certain things that can be seen beyond one's territory. But here, if the window also has a wall in front of it, then the whole view is closed, and it is the symbol of isolation. One is isolated, one is not connected to the world, one cannot see beyond one point. So we understand that this office was made in such kind of a place where the place was very crowded, and there were cramped offices in one big hall. Many people were sitting to work, and they were just separated by some screens, like small um, cubicles are made in modern offices. They were made in such a manner, and the windows there were also such that they opened to other walls. Nothing can be seen or could be seen or viewed from those windows. So in this story, we find there are many employees who are working at this office, which is a lawyer's office, and he has got a lot of work to do. And these people are scrivener employees. Turkey is one person who gets drunk, so he works nicely until he is drunk. So he can work only till lunch. In the morning he starts to work at usual time when the office starts, and and he works only till lunch, because after that he gets uh, drunk. Then there is another person called Nippers, who has got a very different habit, that he wakes up very late in the morning, and that is why he starts work during the afternoon. So Turkey works in the morning only. Nippers works after midday. And then there is one Ginger Nut. He is a 12-year-old office boy, and he is there to bring cakes and tea for the people who are working in this office. So this lawyer needs more people to work, and therefore he tries to hire more people. And there is one Bartleby who comes for an interview. Bartleby proves to be an excellent employee. He's passive by nature, he's not rude and quite polite, and he was able to do large quantities of work, that is used to write papers for his employer. and his working habits were good. He was a very hard worker. He started in the morning and he worked till late, and he was very rigid at work, and he was very peculiar because he did not ask for any coffee breaks, any cigarette breaks, or any breaks, and he continuously worked very diligently. When his boss asks him to examine a paper for any errors, he replies that he would not prefer to, or rather, he says he would prefer not to. This is his reply. Later on, the employer finds that this is a very frequently given reply for whatever he is asked to do. He says he would rather not prefer, he would prefer not to. So at first, the lawyer thinks that he has misheard the employee and he has said something else, because otherwise he was very polite and he was very passive and submissive. But when he keeps on repeating this for everything that he is asked to do, or the if he is asked to proofread, if he is asked to make amendments or corrections, then this is what he says every time, that he prefers not to. This becomes a pattern, and the lawyer gets a little frustrated, but because he is a hard worker and he works very diligently, that is why he uh, does not say anything harsh to him, and he continues working in that office. The lawyer does not want to fire Bartleby for this, because he does large quantities of writing, and the lawyer justifies this by telling himself that keeping Bartleby on all costs is necessary for him, because he makes him feel charitable and conscious of his Christian values, because he does not want to fire him for this reason. He will keep him because he's a good man otherwise. So one Sunday morning, the lawyer is on his way to church and decides to stop by the office in which these people used to work. Sunday is otherwise a holiday, but there he finds that the office door was not locked, it was open, and when he goes inside, he finds Bartleby on the other side. Bartleby tells him that he needs a few moments alone inside, and after that, the lawyer walks around the block and returns to the office. He finds himself alone with Bartleby gone. The lawyer snoops inside Bartleby's desk and finds that few belongings were there. And he comes to the conclusion that Bartleby was living in the office. He had no other place to live. So at night he used to live in the office. On weekends also he was there. And during the day he used to work. So at first the lawyer thinks that poverty is making him do so. He doesn't have a home, but this kind of living was giving him quite a solitude or loneliness, we can say. And therefore, there is a feeling of great pity that gets aroused in the employer. But soon that pity changes into anger and repulsion, and the lawyer believes that Bartleby has got some incurable mental disease or mental illness, and that is why he behaves in such a manner. And he resolves to find out more about Bartleby's personal life. The next day, the lawyer calls Bartleby into his office. He asks Bartleby many questions about his family, his personal life, personal history, and all that. But Bartleby prefers not to answer any question like that. And when Bartleby is asked to answer in a little reasonable manner, Bartleby says that he would prefer not to do that either. So this is a standard reply that he gives for all questions. A day later, Bartleby ceases doing any work at all. He does not do anything that he is asked to do. He spends his day staring at the wall that was in front of his window, and the lawyer decides that it is time to get rid of this boy because now he is of no use. Earlier, Bartleby had gathered sympathies of the employer because he was diligent worker, but now he had been refusing to all work that uh, he was getting. At the end of the week, he gives Bartleby a $20 bonus. That was a generous amount at that time, wishes him well, and tells him to leave the key when he departs. The lawyer is happy that he would now be away from this boy, and he will not have to handle his answers, and he also did not have to uh, fire the boy out by saying impolite things. But to his dismay, Bartleby still kept on coming to the office. He did not go from the office, he was living in the office only. The lawyer returns on Monday. His $20 bonus was there on his desk, untouched. And when the lawyer confronts Bartleby about his going, he says that he would prefer not to leave. The lawyer knows that he has only two options. One is to call the police and have Battleby removed from there, or keep him as an employee and let him do whatever he is doing. And he considered himself a charitable person. That is why the lawyer decides to keep Bartleby and not call the police, because he thought that he should do certain kind of charity to such kind of destitute people who uh, appear to be lonely and who are tormented in their minds. So this continued till other lawyers and other workers at the office, they began to begin to discuss Bartleby's peculiar ways of working, and they start to think that if he can refuse to work, then they can also refuse to work. And when they were asked to do things more than their potential or whatever they did not want to do, then they used to say the same thing, that they would rather prefer not to do it. So this started to hurt the unnamed lawyer's business, and he decided that he will have to get rid of Bartleby. So he decides that he will not fire Bartleby, rather he would change his office and leave Bartleby behind in this place, and the next tenants who would be there, or the landlord of this place, they will deal with Bartleby. He will not have to say wrong or harsh words to him, and because he is mentally ill. So he would rather leave this place and start his business at a new office. And he does that. But the landlord of this place soon tracks him to his new office, and then asks him to intervene, because Bartleby was still living there and he was not leaving this place. So he ultimately, police had to be called. They even offer Bartleby many charitable offers, including a new job and a place to stay. The lawyer even asks him to come and stay in his home, but he refuses everything, and he does not want to leave this particular place, and the lawyer leaves in a huff or in frustration.